Hello, everybody, and nice to meet you all. So I'm Camille, I'm the co-founder of Ellion. Ellion is initially a consulting company specialized in the life science industry here in Belgium, meaning that we have a group of experts, more scientific, PhD, bioengineer, and so on, that are working in the pharmaceutical industry to improve the process. So they know how we can deal with the different manufacturing tasks that are doing within the pharmaceutical production. And we also have a good knowledge of all the new technology, the IT, the AI, and also the VR. What we wanted to do is to give access to small pharmaceutical companies to XR trainings, because as you all know, this is expensive, and these small companies doesn't have the money to hire people specialized in that and that will develop it. So we have decided to make a collaboration with Deloitte Digital, who is developing the training, and we bring our expertise to develop the trainings that will be used by the trainees on site, and we help the customers saving some time, because we will do all the implementation of the training with the design and all the things that is related to the pharma operation. Here we have, how can I start the video? Okay, so that's a short video of something we have developed. So this is a training for the biosafety cabinets, which is the aseptic manipulation in A grade in the pharmaceutical environment. And the idea of the training is that we can use it safely. You can do it whenever you want from wherever you want, and as you can see on the video, you have the laminar flux, which is visible. And what we wanted to do is to show what you cannot show when you're doing your training on site, or your usual or classical one. You can also have the different errors that can be linked in the system, and then you have a report for each participant saying what did they do good, what did they do wrong, and you can put it in the LMS.
And what is very interesting here is that you bring something invisible in a visible way, so that the people understand well. Because one of the key aspects of what you're doing is that sometimes it's difficult for them to understand what happened if they move too much in there. So maybe explain a bit about the importance of this explaining aspect.
So we are working in a complex environment. If you are going to production line, it's not always people with a scientific background. So we need to learn them, or to show them how does it works and what they cannot see, especially in the biological industry. You cannot see the bacteria, you cannot see the flu, you cannot see everything. So the idea is really to use VR to explain these complex environments in a very easy way, and when you can play with it, and it will allow them to increase the retention rate of what they are learning.
What were the challenges that you faced there in terms of being able to go towards the client? What did you what is your experience about getting access to those clients?
So the main challenge for us, as we address small pharma companies, the budget. They don't always have the budget to spend it on the trainings, even if it's something really important, because we can notice, and we saw that if people are not trained, you will have failed in the production. But to convince them, it's important for us to have data that could be shown to the management, like Anne said just in the previous presentation. But yes, the most difficult part for us is to convince the management to invest in the VR, because it's quite new in the pharmaceutical industry, which is some innovative product, but not always the most innovative production line and so on.
Yeah, but I guess that maybe the cost of putting people in real like environment is something that was very useful for you, because putting the people in a real clean room is difficult. So is this something that a use case, identifying this use case for the laminar flow was something interesting?
Yes, this is exactly because they don't have always access to the equipment. It's often in the production areas, and you cannot access it like that. And if you want to train people on the real equipment, you need to stop the production. So that's why this is something interesting for them, but it's still complicated to make them using the VR for training in the life science industry. It's really convince them, coming with data, showing experience, and trying to democratize the XR in our sector.
Okay, thank you. Maybe you can, yeah. So Richard, you are, maybe you can introduce yourself, but you're coming basically from UK, working in the defense center. Maybe can you explain first what you are doing, what is your job?
Hi, yes, thank you. Good afternoon. I'm Richard Finch, so from the UK. I represent an organisation called the UK Defence Solutions Centre, and what we do, we sit as an independent body in between UK MOD and also then the defence industry sector. We try and identify and bring to their attention particular technologies that may be of interest, that can help within the defence environment, from say all the different use cases, being both land, maritime, and air. As you can imagine, there are, say, a myriad of use cases in each of those environments, often, say, centered around the training environments, learning new skills, new tactics, techniques and procedures, as well as just learning new equipment types, how best to maintain them, manage them, look after them. And then also when new equipment is brought into service, in terms of the transition and pivoting across old equipments to new equipment, making sure that the training burden is minimized and managed successfully. And so, as I say, there are three images there, just roughly representing those typical different environments. And so what I've currently ongoing is a study to help MOD look further into the future of what XR technologies are going to be bringing, as well as enhancing further virtual training solutions, but also what can happen in terms of augmented reality, mixed reality solutions as well. And so trying to understand what the ecosystem is, because as big as the defense sector is, it's still not very big when it comes to XR technologies. Very much there's a recognition that that those technologies have their own ecosystem and are born out from a lot of other adjacent sectors, gaming, etc. And as Camille says, very much into the pharma sector as well. So what we're trying to look for is not just unique solutions into the defense sector, but where can we leverage other sector learnings from, let's say, those use cases representing where challenging environments are involved, and what the XR technologies can help to minimize and improve safety for any of the armed forces operators in particular environments, as well as then also potentially if sensitive information is involved in the pharmaceutical industries, as well as other medical and other sectors where very sensitive information might be part of the solution space that you want to make sure you manage and protect, whilst still leveraging the benefits of the XR technology. And that's obviously a key factor in the defense sector as well. So we see some of the other key challenges being very much the connectivity challenge. So whilst a lot of XR use cases are conducted, managed, and run within a benign office environment or a laboratory environment with a fixed infrastructure, defense is looking to maybe take those and exploit them further into what we call the deployed space, where there may not be the level of fixed connectivity, wireless connectivity that you might need to support the traditional XR technologies. So how is that going to impact any solutions going forward? And looking to understand not just the wireless technology linkages then, but also how does that impact the underpinning IT architecture? There's an interesting debate on one of the panel sessions earlier about what parts of the process stay within the cloud or the XR technologies themselves, stay within the XR technologies and the local edge compute, but what then gets passed back to the cloud environment, and how is that managed, and how does that share the different burdens of the wireless connectivities between each of those? Because again, whilst in a lab or a warehouse environment, you simply obviously go straight from your Wi-Fi onto a wide infrastructure, internet infrastructure. In a deployed environment, a forward land headquarters or a ship at sea, then you have to now consider the reach back wireless connectivity that's needed to support that. And does that introduce additional latencies and throughput challenges that may inhibit or restrict the particular XR technologies you're trying to exploit? As I've touched on again, information security, InfoSec challenge, that's a big one for the defense environment, making sure that all those solutions that we build and put in place are managed and secure from information management and also the cybersecurity aspects. Hopefully we're all aware in the modern world the cybersecurity challenge is quite a significant one, with hacks to various national and other infrastructures being conducted on a quite regular basis. And certainly XR technologies, whilst they are great in what they may enable, we also need to make sure that they are implemented in a safe and secure way. And as I say, integration and interoperability. Those examples I showed earlier, land, maritime and air, there are a lot of great solutions in those spaces, but they are often developed and delivered as stovepiped individual solutions. How do we bring those together? How do we support those through open standards? And that's one partially hit over this next few days, is to try and understand where is the ecosystem going in the XR world to drive to more open standards architectures and in supporting interoperability. First and foremost with our own armed forces units, but ideally to put ourselves on a greater, wider NATO first footing as well, to be able to support coalition operations far more seamlessly with our NATO ally partners, which is a real, a future challenge that we'd like to look to drive towards. And as I say, finally, it's that standards. Yeah, where are the standards going within the architecture space? Not just to the front end interactive components, the goggles, the glasses, which we've heard some great presentations about, the haptic devices that are interacting with, but then what are the open standards that are being supporting the whole rest of the whole ecosystem, let's say the use cases, the software environments that are being developed and delivered, and all those protocols and links between the information stack that supports the whole ecosystem. So yeah, really got some very interesting challenges in the defense space to really hopefully unlock the power of XR technologies to be wider applicable.
Yeah, thank you, Richard. And the main challenge around all this is to find a return on investment about that, because I guess all those challenges are going into, at the end of the day, would they invest and start to invest knowing that all those challenges are there?
Yes, correct. And ultimately, that's what it's about, is if we want to try and unlock that power on a defense-wide enterprise, we need to be able to show that there is return on investment, i.e. the original engineering, non-recoverable engineering costs, the NRE costs to the solution, aren't exorbitant and aren't going to create what we call a vendor lock-in solution, that we are constrained to only sourcing from one particular vendor and one particular solution type. We ideally need to make sure that the solution is extensible and open to then future upgrades and flexibility for when those new glasses, when those new goggles, when those new haptic gloves come along, that they can be seamlessly integrated into the core IT architecture infrastructure and really supporting that future evolution, and not every time have to rip it up and throw it away and start again. And that is a key part of, let's say, that investment case that we're looking to build for the extensible solution.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Richard. Maybe you can pass to Fabrice. Fabrice, maybe you might have some examples on how in the automotive sector, I guess you will show us an example of that, and maybe the training on the maintenance or is some part of the beginning of a story for those sectors?
Yeah,
for exactly. The other sectors?
Yeah. So good afternoon. I'm delighted to be here with you today to share this feedback regarding our journey in XR on the training. So I'm Fabrice, I'm the founder of Synergiz. Synergiz is a French company providing XR solutions in several sectors like automotive, aerospace, energy, education, healthcare, and so on. To put a little of context, Synergiz was created in 2011, and we were focused on first-line workers, meaning that we were trying to find the right way for people in the field to access the information they need to achieve their goals and be efficient. And in 2015, we were lucky enough to discover on the Microsoft campus at Redmond what will be launched as HoloLens on the mixed reality. So during the first years, we started by deploying a lot of custom solutions created specifically for customers and to deploy them on the field. And based on this deployment, we learn a lot from the feedbacks from the customers. We learn a lot from our successes, but we also learn a lot of the challenges we encounter. And in 2020, we decided to launch a product that is now called Arbor to answer to these customers' expectations. So let's see Arbor in a short video. So Arbor is a global solution dedicated to training. There's two parts. The first one is the ability to consume some training courses. Like you can see, you can display some 3D models. You can interact with the 3D model. You can also add some images, videos. You can interact going from one scene to another. And you can also check the trainee has understood what he's currently looking at by having some question or some quiz. So on this example, we are on motor for Stellantis. And you can check every steps. It's a first way to train, but it's not only self-training with research solutions. You can also share the same content with a group. So for example, in this case, you've got a trainer and several trainees. They are looking at the same kind of content, and it's a way to engage trainees in the training by interacting with a 3D model, for example. Using the same kind of solutions, you can also augment a physical object, like in these examples. You can provide some step-by-step guidance to ensure that an operator follow a specific procedure step-by-step and check every step. So in this case, as you can see, you can add some videos, photos, some 3D models localized to point to specific point of interest on the augmented object. So, for example, in this step, we would like to check the manometer value. So you got the arrow to show what has been done. And last way to consume this learning is with remote collaboration. So you can share the same content between several users located in different locations. And users can interact in real time by voice, sharing the same 3D models or 2D elements.
So then what you show is that there is one people in one room and one other remote,
exactly.
And they are, okay.
Yeah. And in this solution, it's not only displaying some content, it's also a way to create very easily the content. So we've got what we call Arbor platform. It's a way to create very easily some learning scenarios only by dropping some content and creating some link between the object. The goal is to have something as easily as using a PowerPoint, a 3D PowerPoint, but with the same approach. So once you have created your content, you only scan the QR code and play the animation. And if you do not have the 3D models of your equipment, you need only to scan it very quickly, integrate, and you can get an augmented object for your training purpose. Same approach, in this case, you can add some point of interest, see some documents, images, 3D models that you can freely manipulate as you would like. And also some videos. .
right.
So it's a simple example of what we can achieve with Arbor in the automotive sector. And the why behind Arbor is made of three main topics, three main convictions. The first one is we have to focus on the content. What I would like to say by that is that for us is very important. It's critical that subject matter experts can create their own content very easily, be totally autonomous to do that. Exactly said by Anne in the previous panel. For us, it's critical to have the people who know how to do, to have ability to create the content. But Content First is also providing the company with the ability to manage the content, meaning storing the learning scenarios, managing them, deploying them, and be sure what the content is deployed. You use MDM to manage the device. You can use this kind of tool to manage the content, ensure it will be only on authorized devices. It's a way to protect your IP. And last, on the Content First topic, we would like all the content to be independent of any hardware, meaning that you create the content once, and if you would like to change your hardware from, for example, HoloLens to another headset, the content remains available. So the value is still available. Second topic related to that, learning your way. As I already mentioned, there are several ways to do some learning. You can do self-training, you can do local collaborative training, remote collaborative training, but you also have different configuration of content. You would like maybe to use only 3D models. In other case, you would like to augment some existing model, have some immersive environment, 360 or 3D. You would like maybe to add some images, videos, quiz, and so on. So there's several ways to create the training. So you have to adapt to that. And then, in some other cases, you would like your trainees to only view the content. In other ways, you would like the trainees to be able to manipulate, meaning zoom in, zoom out, move, and translate, and things like that. And finally, in some cases, you only would like the trainees to follow a predefined scenario, predefined steps you have created for them. And last, in some cases, you would like to have something connected, for example, to get collaboration. And in other cases, you would like to have something disconnected because you are using your training in a location where there's no connectivity. So we have a solution for that. On the last point, simple start, strong impact. It's a conviction that you do not need to imagine something very advanced. Start very simple and get the benefits very soon by implying the trainee and the trainers in the process. Only displaying a document in the field of view of a trainee is already a first step that provides value. Then you will be able to have more advanced scenario, cut the document in several steps, add images, add video, add some 3D models and so on, but start quickly but efficiently.
Thank you, Fabrice. I noticed that you provide your solution to competence centers, so to people who are training the people for the final clients or for a sector. What is your advice, and maybe we can discuss it later also, because we know that training in the health sector and in defense center are also some stuff that need to be set up. So I guess that providing some internal content from, you say, for instance, the automotive sector, and putting that in the hand of the competence center is not always easy. What is your feedback and your experience by collaborating with those kinds of environments?
The main feedback we have with this sector is that the first step is to onboard and empower the trainers. If the trainers do not see the value, they will not be involved, and there will no content delivered to trainees. So trainers are a lot to do, so they have to see the benefit of the tool at the first stage. So it's why I say start small, but start with the trainers.
Okay, and they are the proxy you use in order to convince the client to give some 3D assets on which the people can train, I guess?
Yeah, exactly.
Because we saw that the Leap motor, but I guess that the people from Stellantis are not keen on giving those 3D content to anyone. So yeah.
When you do not have 3D models, you can start by other means, but start simple.
Okay, thank you. What about the training environment in Wallonia? Do you have experience with those competence centers, and do you provide maybe to collaborate directly with the companies or also with more competence center and so on?
We also work with the competence center. There is one specialized in the life science sector called Cefochim. We work with them for classical ex cathedra training, so we also provide trainings, and we will try to experience with them this year a mixed training between ex cathedra and using VR to maybe more give example and put people in directly in the production line. And what we want to do is to use the VR to give examples to people and to help the trainers to give more details and to increase the immersion on the shelves.
Okay, thank you. Richard, are there any clues in your opinion and the way that the XR actor can go towards defense? What would be, we said, start small and then convince. Do you think there are some aspect in the defense sector where it is possible to start maybe through training? Do you think do you have any clues about that?
I think one of the big problems in the defense sector, if you simply remove the word defense, it's fundamentally a large governmental organization. For those who have ever worked with large governmental organizations in any country, it is massively bureaucratic. Thank you, lots of nods going on there. Yeah, and I think that's the fundamental problem in the particular defense sector space. As I say, we've had lots of great examples in the land, in the maritime, in the air. Do they talk to each other? No, they don't. So, yeah, I think the biggest fundamental problem is not necessarily that indirect engagement with the XR community, because that has been happening effectively in those pockets. But as I say, they have been stovepiped. So that I think the wider challenge is how does the XR community per se make a big enough case that it can, as I say, span those individual successful demonstrations today. And good luck to anybody who tries it, because as I say, it's a fundamentally large governmental bureaucratic organization, and that is a subtly different challenge to crack. But, and this is where I say I slightly sound like a broken record. I go back to my architectures and standards piece. I think if there is a coalescence on standards across the sector, the XR sector, I think that is when the powerful argument will come to hopefully unite those individual pockets.
Yeah.
Excuse the pun.
No, I totally agree, because I talk with a lot of XR actors, and they all say, when I ask, do you work with the defense sector? Yeah, but I am their NDA, so I cannot say anything. And that's basically one of the biggest problems. But we know that sometimes in other sectors too, secrecy is king. So I guess it's still one, if I may, you can react on that. It's one of the main challenge of the XR today is that it's not easy to create some tools that you can expand throughout an industry, and maybe you are right. Maybe we can spread the word that giving good standards might be the solution, and provide those standards from the different components of the army.
Yeah, I think it comes, again, a lot from what I term the push or the pull. To date, there's been a very, as I say, strong push from the XR community, and it's been taken up separately. Now, what we need to try and is almost flip that around, where Defence Central, or the central organisation, needs to pull. And I think then there is likely to be more success. But that pull will only come through the education, which is what hopefully I'll be trying to do within my study, is to say that there is a better way of doing it and doing the pulling. Again, it's not just XR technology, it's a defense-wide problem that we're trying to tackle. But yeah, it's a challenge.
Okay, thank you for sharing this thought, and we try to spread the word. A last word, maybe Fabrice, and then Camille.
As a summary, maybe focus on the value provided by your experience in training, and start focusing the value.
Thank you. And you, Camille?
Yeah, to summarize also what we said is that we are all convinced that there is a huge added value of the XR in the trainings for industrial. Now we need to also to convince the customers, bringing data and maybe putting our strengths together to show the potential of the XR trainings.
Yes, thank you very much, guys. Yeah, I think that as a wrap-up, we can say that there are a lot of things still to do. Very good examples, and thank you, Fabrice, for showing us the way you provided this tool coming up from our service and then going to tools. Thank you, Richard, for sharing your thought about all those challenges. And I guess it's not easy, and we understand that your job is not easy to interface those actors. And you, Camille, thank you for bringing your point of view about this sector. I remind you that as XR Wallonia HITT, we really want to collaborate and to make collaboration with international actors. So it's very important that if you have ideas on how together we can bring solutions and cross the different actors and collaboration, feel free to come to our booth. Or you scan the QR code and you can send us an email to my colleague Annabelle or to me. We have 3 minutes left. Maybe if there are questions in the audience, we can maybe answer those questions. Is there any question in the audience? No? Okay, no problems. Thank you very much for coming, and thank you for the panelists for the exchanges.
Thank you,
Thank
Mathieu.
you.
Thank you.